Let me paint a picture. You have been doing the same workout routine for months, maybe even years. Same exercises, same rep ranges, same intensity level, same time of day, same playlist. You show up, you go through the motions, check the box, but wonder why nothing's changing. You might even be proud of your consistency, which you should be, stating, I haven't missed a workout in 6 months. But, and this is the magic word, but your body looks exactly the same as it did 6 months ago. Your strength hasn't improved, your endurance hasn't improved, and you're not losing fat or building muscle. Sound familiar? That's because you're treating exercise like a chore instead of a challenge. You're going through the motions instead of creating adaptation. So today, we're fixing that, and I'm going to show you exactly why your body has stopped responding and what you need to do to wake it back up. Welcome back to Straight Talk with Abby, the audio series where we get real about transformation after 40. I'm your host, Abby, aka Your Fitness Chick, and I'm passionate about helping you get out of your own way to live life fully. Let's get into today's episode. Let's start with the blocks that are keeping you from moving forward with progress in your workouts. And block number 1 is the adaptation plateau. Your body is incredibly smart, probably smarter than you give it credit for. It's designed for survival, which means it's designed to be as efficient as possible with the energy it uses. When you first started working out, everything was hard, right? You were sore for days after every session, but you saw changes quickly. You got stronger, you lost some weight, your endurance improved, and that's because your body was scrambling to adapt to the new demands you were placing on it. But now, your body's figured you out. It knows your little game. It knows exactly what's coming every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. It's prepared. It's efficient, and it's bored. And a bored body does not change. This is called the principle of accommodation, and it's one of the fundamental laws of exercise science. Your body adapts to repeated stimuli until that stimulus is no longer challenging enough to create further adaptation. Think about it. If you've been doing the same workout for 6 months, your body has become incredibly efficient at that specific workout. It knows exactly how much energy to allocate, which muscles to use, how to move in the most economical way possible. But efficiency is the enemy of change. When your body becomes efficient at something, it stops adapting to it. This is especially problematic for people over 40 because we love our little routines. We like predictability. We like knowing what to expect, but your muscles don't care about your need for comfort. They respond to progressive overload and novel stimuli. Here's what happens when you do the same workout repeatedly. Your nervous system becomes more efficient at recruiting the muscles needed for those specific movements. Your cardiovascular system adapts to that specific demand, and your muscles adapt to that specific stress. Once those adaptations are complete, which usually takes about 6 to 8 weeks, further improvement stops. You've reached what's called a training plateau. If you've been doing the same workout for more than 8 to 12 weeks without making significant changes, you're essentially just going through the motions for fitness maintenance, which is fine if that's your goal, but don't expect transformation. But here's the thing that drives me crazy. Most people interpret a plateau as evidence that exercise doesn't work for them. They think their body is just broken, or that they have bad genetics, or that they're just too old to see changes. No, that's absolutely not true. You're just doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. As we know, that's the definition of insanity. The solution isn't to quit. The solution is to change the stimulus. Your body craves novelty. It responds to new challenges. It adapts to whatever you consistently ask it to do, but you have to keep asking it to do new things. Block number 2, the intensity problem. Most people over 40 train like they're made of glass. You're so afraid of injury, so afraid of overexertion, so afraid of being sore the next day that you never actually challenge yourself. You use the same weights week after week. You stop your sets when they get uncomfortable instead of when they get hard. And you avoid exercises that make you breathe heavy because you think that's dangerous. Meanwhile, you're wondering why you're not getting stronger, not losing fat, not building muscle, and not improving your conditioning. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying you should train like a 22-year-old power lifter who thinks pain is weakness leaving the body, but I am saying you should train with intention and progression, and that means getting uncomfortable sometimes. If you can have a conversation during your entire workout, you're not working out hard enough. If you're not sweating at some point during your session, you're not working out hard enough. If you can do 15 reps easily, but just stop at 12 because that's what the program says, you're not working hard enough. Your body over 40 needs more stimulus to change, not less. We already know we got a lot of less stuff going on, right? You have less testosterone, less growth hormone, slower recovery, and more life stress interfering with adaptation. And that means you need to work harder during the time you do have, not easier. But here's what I see all the time. People going through the motions at 60% intensity and wondering why they're not seeing results. They'll do 3 sets of 10 bicep curls with the same 15-pound dumbbells they've been using for 2 years. So set 1 is easy, set 2 is easy, set 3 is easy. And then they wonder why their arms aren't getting bigger or stronger. Or they'll walk on the treadmill at the exact same speed for 30 minutes, never getting out of breath, never challenging their cardiovascular system, and wondering why their endurance isn't improving. Here's the reality, guys. Adaptation requires overload. Overload requires progressive challenge. Progressive challenge requires getting out of your comfort zone. It doesn't mean you should ignore pain or push through injuries, but it does mean you should learn the difference between discomfort and danger. Muscle fatigue, it's good. Your muscles burning during the last few reps of a set, good. Being out of breath during cardio, good. Being sore for a day or two after a challenging workout, also good. But sharp joint pain is bad. Feeling dizzy or nauseous, bad. And pain that doesn't go away, definitely bad. So learn the difference and don't use the possibility of the bad kind of discomfort as an excuse to avoid the good kind. So progressive overload strategies, I'm going to throw some of those out here right now because the most obvious way to progress is to add weight. If you can do 12 reps with a certain weight, next week, try 13 reps. The week after that, try adding 5 pounds and going back to the 12 reps. But weight increase is not the only way to progress because you can also add reps while keeping the weight the same. Add sets while keeping weight and reps the same. Increase your range of motion. Slow down the tempo, especially the lowering portion. Decrease your rest time between sets. Increase your training frequency and add complexity to the movement. The key here is that something should be getting harder every week. If nothing is getting harder, nothing is going to change. So intensity techniques for the 40 plus crowd is that you don't need to drop sets and supersets like a 25-year-old bodybuilder, but you can use some intensity techniques to challenge yourself safely. So one of them is to do rest pause sets. And this means you'll do as many reps as you can, rest like 10 to 15 seconds, and then do a few more reps. This allows you to extend a set beyond normal failure safely. Slow negatives. Controlling the lowering portion of the lift very slowly, like 3 to 5 seconds. This increases your time under tension and can be more challenging than adding weight. One of my other favorites is 1.5 reps. You'll do a full rep, then a half rep, and then count that as 1 rep. This also increases time under tension in the stretched position. Mechanical advantage drops. Start with a harder version of an exercise. Then when you fatigue, switch to an easier version. For example, start with a regular push-up and then drop to knee push-ups when you can't do any more. The goal is not to kill yourself in every workout. The goal is to consistently challenge yourself in a progressive, systematic way. And block number 3, the movement variety crisis. Let's talk about movement patterns because most of you are stuck in the sagittal plane, and that means front to back movement. You squat, you press, you deadlift, you row, all great movements, but all in the same plane of motion, the ones that you use every day when you're getting out of bed. But life happens in 3 dimensions. You need to move sideways, rotationally, at different speeds, at different levels, carrying things, pushing things, pulling things from different angles. Think about what you do in real life. You bend down and twist to pick up something from under a table. You reach overhead and rotate to put something on a high shelf. You carry groceries while walking upstairs. You push a heavy door open while stepping sideways. When's the last time your workout prepared you for any of these movements? Most gym routines are incredibly limited in terms of movement patterns. You do exercises that move in straight lines from fixed positions with balanced loads on stable surfaces. But real life is chaotic, unpredictable, and 3-dimensional. So let's talk real quickly about the planes of motion. So the sagittal plane, this is your forward and backward movement, like squats, deadlifts, lunges, presses, rows. Most gym exercise happen here. The frontal plane, this is your side to side movement, side lunges, lateral raises, side bends. Most people completely ignore this plane. Transverse plane. This is a rotational movement like wood choppers, Russian twists, rotational throws. Also largely ignored in most routines. Your workout should include movements in all 3 planes, not just the sagittal plane. Levels of movement are important as well because most gym exercises happen standing up or lying down, but you need to be able to move efficiently at different levels, such as these. Ground level, getting up and down from the floor, crawling patterns, rolling patterns. Kneeling level, half kneeling exercises, tall kneeling exercises. Standing level, this is where most exercises happen. And overhead level, meaning reaching, carrying things overhead, hanging. Training at different levels challenges your body in different ways and builds real world strength and mobility. Also, I can't fail to mention here the importance of unilateral versus bilateral training. Most gym exercises use both sides of your body simultaneously. Bilateral training, squats, deadlifts, bench presses, rows. But most real life activities, they're unilateral, using one side at a time. Walking, running, carrying a suitcase, throwing, reaching. Single arm and single leg exercises force your core to work harder, address imbalances between sides, and better prepare you for real world activities. So examples of this would be a single arm dumbbell press, a single leg Romanian deadlift, single arm row, lunges, and step ups. Also, different tempos and speeds. Most gym exercises are performed at a moderate controlled tempo, but life requires you to move at different speeds, right? So sometimes you need to move slowly and precisely, like when you're carrying something fragile, but sometimes you need to move explosively, like when you're trying to catch yourself from falling. Your training should include both slow, controlled movements and fast, explosive movements. So, examples of variety to add into your workouts: lateral movement, do side lunges, lateral walks, skating patterns, lateral shuffles. Your hips will thank you. Rotational power like medicine ball throws, wood chops, Russian twists, rotational lunges. Unilateral training, meaning do single arm presses, single leg deadlifts, single arm rows, lunges, and step ups, and different tempos. Sometimes move slowly and controlled, and sometimes move explosively, like jump squats, medicine ball throws. Ground based movements, like helping you to get up and down from the floor in different ways. Turkish get ups, bear crawls, crab walks are great examples of this. Carrying patterns. One of my favorites is farmer's walks, suitcase carries, overhead carries, and front loaded carries. Anti movement, like planks, side planks, Pallof presses, exercises where you resist movement rather than to create it. Because this isn't just about building a better physique, it's about building a more resilient, capable body that can handle whatever life throws at you. So there they are, what I feel are the top 3 blocks that affect your workout progress. So let's dive a little deeper into the solutions about how to structure your training more so you don't get bored and your body doesn't adapt to the point of stagnation. My favorite thing is periodization, and it's how athletes train to peak at specific times, but the principles apply to anyone who wants to continue making progress. The basic idea here is that you organize your training into specific phases or blocks, each with a different focus and emphasis. This prevents adaptation plateaus and keeps your training interesting. So, linear periodization is the simplest approach and the one I use for most of my fitness clients. You progress from high volume, low intensity to low volume, high intensity over a period of weeks or months. So, an example of this would be like phase 1, like weeks 1 through 4 of working out. This is what I call foundation building. This is when you'll do higher repetitions, usually 12 to 15. You'll use lighter weights and you'll focus on movement quality and form and building work capacity. Phase 2 would be like weeks 5 through 8, progressive overload, where you would do medium reps, maybe 8 to 12, and moderate weights. Focus on building strength and muscle. Phase 3 would be weeks 9 through 12, and this is where things start to intensify. Lower reps, like 5 to 8 reps, heavier weights, and you're focusing on gaining maximum strength. And phase 4, week 13 on, you'll deload and reassess, do lighter weights, fewer sets, and active recovery. Then you start the cycle over again with new exercises or higher starting weights. The other thing that I cannot recommend enough is tracking and progression. You need to track something if you want to improve. You cannot manage what you don't measure, right? So at minimum, track what exercises you performed, the amount of weight you used, the reps you completed, and how the workout felt. Like on a scale from 1 to 10, you'll rank it. Advanced tracking might include sleep quality the night before, stress level, energy level, both your pre and post workout, and heart rate variability if you have the technology. I've been tracking my workouts for like 20 years. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. I still have my recorded workouts, and I always put the amount of time I slept the night before, what time of day I'm working out. I'll put if anything felt off, if I felt like my right shoulder was a little weird or whatever. And that helps me to gauge my progress week after week. Because if I go in and expect to do the same amount of strength I had the week before and something's off, I look at the variables because that's how you determine where to change. Because the key is consistency. It's better to track simple metrics consistently than complex metrics sporadically. Your workout routine should challenge you, excite you, and evolve with you. It should not be something that you can just sleepwalk through. If you have been doing the same exercises with the same weights for the same reps for months on end since 1988, you're not training. You're just going through the motions. Your body is incredibly adaptable, as we've talked about, but it needs a reason to adapt. So give it novel challenges. Give it progressive overload. Give it variety in movement, patterns, intensities, and demands. Your body at 40, 50, or 60 and beyond is capable of incredible things, probably more incredible than it was when you were younger, because now you have wisdom, discipline, and resources that your younger self didn't have. But you have to challenge it intelligently and consistently. Remember, you're not training to be a 25-year-old athlete. You're training to be the strongest, most capable, and most resilient version of yourself at whatever age you are right now. Thanks for listening to Straight Talk with Abby. If this episode hit you where you needed it, here's what I want you to do. First, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Transformation is contagious, and you never know who's waiting for exactly this message. Second, if you're ready to stop starting over and start becoming the unstoppable version of yourself, I've got something for you. My audiobook, Your Breakthrough Era, Unstoppable Starts Here, is now available on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. It's the deeper dive into everything we talk about here. And if you're ready to go all in on your fitness transformation, check out my program, Unstoppable 2.0, my 12-week program that combines fitness, mindset, and identity work to help you become who you're meant to be. You can find all the details at yourfitnesscheck.com. Remember, your breakthrough era doesn't start when you feel ready. It starts when you decide you're ready. I'll see you next time for more Straight Talk. Until then, keep breaking through.